Welcome to Learn English by Reading. Today, we will enjoy the story of the Three Little Pigs. This is a famous tale that teaches us about hard work, smart choices, and courage. In this story, three little pigs leave their mother and start a new life. Each pig decides to build a home, but they choose different materials. One uses straw, another uses sticks, and the last one uses bricks. Soon, a big bad wolf comes to the village. He wants to blow their houses down and eat the pigs. The pigs must use their minds, their hands, and their bravery to stay safe. While reading this story, you will learn simple English sentences, new vocabulary, and useful expressions. Every sentence is written in easy language, so that English learners at A1 to A2 level can understand and enjoy it. Reading stories is a fun and powerful way to improve your English. It helps you learn naturally, just like listening and speaking in daily life. So sit comfortably, relax, and follow the adventure of the three brave pigs. Read slowly, understand clearly, and enjoy each part of the story. Learning English is easier when you enjoy the journey. Let's begin and improve your English step by step through reading and imagination. The sun rose softly over the peaceful countryside, painting the sky with warm colors of orange and pink. In a cozy little home near the forest lived three little pigs with their mother. They were happy, playful, and full of dreams. But time moved quickly, and the three pigs had grown up. One bright morning, their mother called them together. She spoke gently but firmly, because she knew it was time for them to go out into the world and build lives of their own. "My dear children," she said, touching each of them lovingly, "you have grown strong and brave. Now you must go and build your own houses. But remember, life is not always easy. Work hard, think carefully, and do not forget what I have taught you." The pigs listened, their hearts beating with excitement. The world outside was big and full of adventures. They hugged their mother tightly, promising to visit her soon. Then, with cheerful smiles, they packed a few things and began walking down the road together, ready to face a new beginning. At first, the journey felt like a holiday. The birds sang happily, the air smelled fresh, and the pigs chatted excitedly about their future homes. "I will build my house quickly," said the first little pig, dancing as he walked. "Then I can spend the rest of my days playing and sleeping." The second pig laughed and nodded. "Yes. Life should be fun. I will build my house fast, too, and then we can enjoy long days of relaxing in the sunshine." But the third pig shook his head. He was quiet and thoughtful. "You two always think about play," he said kindly. "I want a strong house, one that can protect me from danger. It may take time, but safety and hard work are important." The other two pigs rolled their eyes and giggled. "You worry too much," they said. The third pig simply smiled, because he knew time would show who made the better choice. The road stretched long before them, curving gently past green fields and tall trees. Sometimes the wind whispered through the leaves, as if giving advice. Sometimes butterflies danced around them, and the pigs chased them joyfully. They passed a clear river where fish swam happily. They climbed small hills and walked through wide meadows. The world felt magical, and every step filled their hearts with hope. After a while, they reached a place where the path split into three directions. "This is where we say goodbye," the third pig said, even though he felt a little sad. They hugged once more, promising to visit each other when their homes were built. Then each pig walked down a different path, beginning his own story. The first little pig did not walk far. Soon he found a sunny open field with soft grass and a gentle breeze. "This is perfect," he said happily. "I will build my house right here. I want something fast, something easy, something fun." He looked around and saw piles of straw nearby. Straw was soft, light, and easy to carry. It did not take strength or skill. He smiled brightly and began working quickly, humming a cheerful song. In only a short time, his little straw house stood ready. It looked cute and simple. "Finished!" he shouted proudly. "Now I can dance, play, and sleep without worry." He stretched lazily and began jumping around in joy, not thinking about safety at all. He believed nothing bad would happen. Meanwhile, the second little pig continued walking until he found a quiet area near some tall trees. The place looked peaceful, and there were many sticks scattered around. "This will do nicely," he said. "A stick house will be stronger than a straw house, and still easy to build." He collected sticks, tied them together, and built a little house. It took more effort than straw, but he did not mind. After some time, his stick house stood proudly, slightly stronger, but still thin and simple. "Ha! Finished too?" he called out happily. "Now I can rest and play." He sat down under a tree, dreaming of days filled with fun, not realizing danger could come at any moment. Farther away, the third pig walked until he reached a strong, quiet place near a small hill. There, he found stones and clay nearby. He worked slowly and carefully, planning every step. He dug the ground deeply to make a strong foundation. He carried bricks and stacked them one by one. It was hard work. His legs hurt, his arms felt tired, and sweat rolled down his face. But every brick made his home stronger, and he smiled proudly as the walls rose higher. He continued building from morning until evening. When birds flew home to rest, he was still working. When the sky turned pink with sunset, he wiped his brow and admired his growing house. "Good things take time," he whispered happily. He felt tired, but he also felt strong, safe, and confident in his decision. Days passed, and soon the three pigs had settled into their new homes. The first pig danced and slept. The second pig rested under trees and hummed songs. The third pig continued improving his home, checking every wall and window carefully. Little did they know, danger was already moving through the forest. Hidden among the shadows, a hungry wolf wandered, searching for food. He sniffed the air, his sharp eyes scanning the land. He had heard rumors of 3 fat little pigs living alone. "Ah," he whispered with a wicked grin, "a delicious meal awaits me." His voice was low and cold, filled with hunger and cunning. Slowly, silently, he began following the scent of the pigs. The wind carried his breath like a dark promise, and the forest seemed to tremble slightly, as if warning the innocent pigs of the danger approaching. The world, once peaceful and bright, was about to change, and the first pig, unaware and laughing in his weak straw house, would soon hear a knock that would make his heart freeze with fear. The first little pig was inside his straw house, humming a happy tune and kicking his feet in joy. He felt proud of his fast work and believed life would be easy from now on. The soft straw walls glowed in the sunlight, and the wind gently brushed through the leaves outside. Everything felt peaceful and perfect. The little pig lay down on his straw bed, stretching and smiling. "Ah, no hard work, no problems," he whispered. But just then, a strange sound came from the forest. It was soft at first, like a low growl mixed with heavy breathing. The pig sat up quickly, his ears twitching. His heart beat faster. "What was that?" he whispered, but he tried to laugh it off. Maybe just the wind, or maybe a bird. But deep inside he felt nervous. Something was coming. A shadow moved between the trees. Branches shook. Leaves rustled loudly. Step by step, the shadow grew bigger and closer. Soon the sound of heavy footsteps echoed across the field. The first little pig froze. He knew that sound was not wind. It was not a bird. It was something big, something dangerous. "Oh no," he whispered. His little heart beat like a drum. And then, out from the trees, the wolf appeared. His fur was dark and rough, his teeth sharp and shining, his eyes wild and hungry. He looked around slowly, sniffing the air. Then he smiled, a long, scary smile. "Ah, I smell pig," the wolf growled softly. His voice was deep and cold, like winter wind. The pig's legs shook. He quietly crawled to the corner of his small house, hoping the wolf would go away. But the wolf walked straight toward the straw house. He knocked on the door with his long claws. Tap, tap, tap. Little pig," he growled. "Let me come in." The little pig's voice trembled as he answered, Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." He tried to sound brave, but his voice shook like a leaf. The wolf grinned wider. "Then I will huff," he shouted, stepping back, "and I will puff, and I will blow your house down." The little pig's heart nearly stopped. He squeezed his eyes shut and curled into a tiny ball. The wolf took a deep breath, one so big the trees shook, and then he blew with all his strength. The wind rushed like a storm. The straw walls trembled and shook. Pieces flew off. The little pig screamed. The wolf laughed wickedly and blew again, harder. This time, the house burst apart, straw flying everywhere like yellow rain. The little pig jumped to his feet and ran, squealing loudly, "Help! Help!" The wolf leapt forward, trying to catch him, but the pig ran as fast as he could. His tiny feet moved like lightning. Tears filled his eyes as he raced across the field toward his brother's stick house. The wolf chased him, laughing as he ran. "You cannot run forever, little pig," he growled. The little pig gasped for breath, his lungs burning. He looked back once, saw the wolf getting closer, and pushed himself to run even faster. "Please let me reach the house," he cried. Finally, he reached the stick house and banged on the door. "Brother! Brother, let me in! The wolf is coming!" The second pig jumped up in surprise. He ran to the door and opened it quickly. "Hurry! Come inside!" He pulled his trembling brother inside and shut the door fast. The two pigs hugged each other tightly, shaking with fear. "He blew my house down," the first pig cried. "Oh no," the second pig whispered. "This is bad. But don't worry. My stick house is much stronger than your straw house. We will be safe here." He tried to sound confident, but his voice was nervous. They could already hear heavy footsteps outside. The sticks in the walls vibrated softly. The wolf stopped right in front of the house. He chuckled, low and dark. Tap, tap, tap. Little pigs," he called. "Let me come in." The second pig shouted, trying to be brave. "Not by the hair of our chinny chin chins." The wolf smirked. "Then I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house down." The two pigs held each other, trembling. The wolf took a deep breath and blew. The sticks rattled, but the house stood. The pigs gasped with hope. "See?" the second pig whispered. "It held. We are safe." But the wolf was not finished. He breathed again, deeper this time, clouds of dust puffing around him. Then he blew even harder. The wind slammed against the stick walls like a storm. The roof shook. The walls bent. Stick by stick, the house started breaking. The pig squealed and hugged tighter. "Please don't fall! Please don't fall!" the first pig cried. But on the wolf's third blow, the whole house cracked and collapsed. Sticks flew everywhere. Dust filled the air. The pigs screamed and ran again, tears falling down their cheeks. "Run! Run!" they cried. The wolf roared and chased them. "You cannot escape!" he yelled. The two pigs ran and ran, their legs shaking, their hearts pounding harder than ever. They dashed through the forest path until they saw, far away, a brick house standing strong and silent like a safe fortress. "Brother's house! Hurry!" the second pig shouted. They ran to the door and banged with all their might. "Brother! Open the door! Help us! The wolf is coming!" The third pig opened the door quickly, saw his terrified brothers, and immediately pulled them inside. He shut the door and locked it tight. "Tell me what happened," he said calmly. The first and second pigs spoke in broken voices, crying and shaking. "He blew our houses down. He's coming here." The third pig nodded slowly. "Do not be afraid. This house is strong. You are safe here outside." The wolf arrived, breathing hard but smiling wide. He looked at the brick house and licked his lips. "3 pigs in one house," he growled. "A perfect feast." He stepped closer, ready to knock again. Inside, the 3 pigs stood together. The first 2 pigs trembled, but the third pig stood tall, brave, and sure. The house was strong, the walls were thick, the windows were firm. The wolf would not win so easily this time. The forest fell silent, as if holding its breath. The wolf lifted his hand to knock. The pigs waited, hearts pounding. The real battle was about to begin. The wolf's claws tapped slowly on the strong wooden door. Tap, tap, tap. Inside, the 3 pigs stood close together. The first 2 pigs were shaking so much, their knees almost knocked together. The third pig took a deep breath and spoke softly. "Do not fear. A wolf cannot break a good home built with hard work." His brothers nodded, trying to believe him, trying to stop their trembling hearts. Outside, the wolf smiled in a cold, hungry way. He leaned closer and growled, little pigs, let me come in." His voice was smooth but dangerous, like a snake sliding in grass. The pigs answered in unison, though their voices trembled. "Not by the hair of our chinny chin-chins." The wolf laughed, a deep, wicked laugh that made birds fly out of the trees in fright. "Then I will huff," he roared, stepping back and lifting his chest, "and I will puff, and I will blow your house down." The wolf sucked in a giant breath. The wind swirled around him like a storm gathering strength. The pigs braced themselves, holding each other. Then the wolf blew with all the power in his lungs. A huge gust smashed against the brick house. Leaves flew off the trees, dust lifted from the ground, and the wolf's breath echoed like thunder. But the brick house didn't move, not even a little. The walls stood firm, the chimney stood straight, and the windows didn't shake at all. Inside, the pigs opened their eyes slowly, surprised. "It worked," whispered the second pig. "He couldn't move it." The third pig smiled confidently. "This is the strength of hard work." Outside, the wolf frowned. His ears twitched with annoyance. He muttered. "This house is stronger than I expected." He narrowed his eyes and blew again, harder than before. The wind screamed and tore through the yard. Grass bent flat to the ground. The trees shook. But the brick house stood like a mountain. Not one brick shifted. The wolf began to pant with effort, but anger burned inside him. "I am the big bad wolf," he growled. No house can stand against me. He took one more breath, deeper than before, his chest swelling like a balloon. Then he blew with all his might. His breath roared against the bricks like a hurricane. Dust flew, branches snapped, and his breath howled. But again, nothing happened. The house stayed strong and silent. Inside, the pigs began to feel brave. The first pig whispered, He really can't do it." The second pig smiled faintly. "We are safe." The third pig put his arm around them. "This is why we do things the right way." The wolf outside growled louder, angrier than ever. His pride hurt, his hunger growing wild, and frustration burned in his eyes. "Fine," he shouted. "If I cannot blow your house down, I will find another way inside." The pigs stiffened. The wolf began circling the house, sniffing the windows, scratching the walls, trying to find a weakness. His claws scraped across the bricks, but they held strong. Then he noticed the chimney at the top. Slowly, a wicked grin spread across his face. "If the door will not open," he whispered, "I shall come from above." Inside, the third pig listened carefully. "Stay quiet," he whispered. They heard footsteps climbing. Tap, tap, tap on the roof. The wolf's claws scratched the tiles as he climbed up inch by inch. The pig's eyes widened. "He's going to come down the chimney," the first pig cried softly. "What do we do?" The third pig didn't panic. He moved quickly to the fireplace. "We will be ready for him." He filled a pot with water and placed it over the fire. He lit the wood, and soon flames crackled brightly. The water began to warm. The second pig helped, pushing more wood into the fire. The first pig wiped his tears and tried to be brave. Outside, the wolf reached the top of the chimney and looked down into the dark hole. "Ha!" he chuckled. "They thought they could hide. But nothing escapes me." Slowly, he began to lower himself into the chimney. Ash fell, soot scattered. Inside, the pigs heard soft, scraping sounds as the wolf slid down. The pot of water began to boil, bubbling louder and louder. The third pig whispered, "Be ready." The fire grew hotter, the room warmed, and the smell of smoke filled the air. The wolf continued climbing down, smiling, licking his lips, imagining his delicious meal. But suddenly, he felt heat. "What is this?" he grumbled. The heat grew stronger. He tried to stop, but his claws slipped. "No! No! Hot!" he cried as the heat stung his fur. And then, splash! The wolf fell straight into the boiling pot. Steam exploded upward, and the wolf screamed in shock and pain. "Yah! Hot! Hot! Hot!" he howled, jumping out of the fireplace, smoke and soot flying everywhere. The pigs screamed too, not in fear now, but surprise and anger. The wolf ran around the room, his fur steaming, his tail smoking. "Ow! Ow! This hurts!" he cried. He shot toward the door and kicked it open, running out into the yard, yelping loudly. "I'll get you next time!" he shouted, but his voice sounded weak and embarrassed. He sprinted into the forest, tripping over roots, crashing into bushes, and disappearing with a final painful howl. Silence filled the air. For a long moment, the pigs just stared at the door, breathing quickly. Then slowly, they looked at each other. The first pig began to laugh shakily, then the second pig joined, and finally, the third pig smiled proudly. "We did it," the first pig whispered. "We are safe," the second pig said. "Yes," the third pig nodded. "And we learned something important. Hard work and planning always win over laziness and fear." The three pigs hugged each other tightly. Their hearts still beat fast, but now with relief and happiness. The sky outside was growing golden as evening approached. Birds returned to their branches, singing gently again. The world felt peaceful once more. The first pig looked at his brother and said softly, "I am sorry. I should have built a strong house like you." The second pig nodded sadly. "Me too. I thought life was just for fun." The third pig hugged them again. "We all learn. Now we know. Strength comes from effort." Together, they sat near the warm fire, safe inside the strong brick house. Outside, the moon began to rise, and stars shone softly. The pigs shared food, talked quietly, and promised that from now on, they would work together, protect each other, and never forget this lesson. But little did they know, the story was not yet finished. In the dark forest, far away, the wolf sat under a tree, shivering, angry, and embarrassed. His eyes burned with frustration. "Those little pigs," he growled, rubbing his sore tail. "They think they have won, but I am not done yet." A cold wind blew through the trees, and the moon hid behind a cloud. Somewhere in the shadows, the wolf's sharp teeth glimmered. He would return, and when he did, the pigs would face another challenge. But for now, the three brothers rested safely inside the brick house, unaware of the danger waiting in the quiet dark. Night fell quietly over the countryside, painting the sky dark and covering the forest in deep shadows. Inside the brick house, the three pigs slept close together beside the warm fireplace. The flames glowed softly, and the room felt cozy and safe. But outside, the forest whispered with secret sounds. Leaves rustled, owls hooted. The wind moved slowly through the tall trees like a warning breath. And far away, eyes glowed in the darkness, angry, hungry eyes belonging to the wolf. He sat silently under a large tree, his fur still damp from the boiling water. His tail was sore, his pride was wounded, and his stomach growled loudly. "Those little pigs think they are safe," he muttered in a low voice, "but I am not finished. I will have my revenge." His teeth shone under the moonlight as he smiled in a cold, angry way. While the wolf planned his next move inside the house, the third pig suddenly opened his eyes. He did not know why, but something felt strange, like danger was nearby. He sat up slowly and listened carefully. His brothers slept peacefully, their soft little snores filling the quiet room. The third pig walked to the window and looked outside. The night was silent, too silent. The wind was still. The leaves did not move. The darkness felt heavy, like it was hiding a secret. The pig frowned. "I must be careful," he whispered. He did not want to worry his brothers yet, but he knew they should prepare. The world did not always give second chances. Morning arrived with warm sunlight and gentle birdsong. The first pig yawned loudly and stretched. "Ah, we are safe," he sang. The second pig smiled, feeling relaxed, but the third pig shook his head slightly. "We are safe for now," he corrected, "but the wolf will not give up easily. We must stay alert." His two brothers became quiet. The memory of the wolf's growling voice made their hearts beat faster. "What should we do?" the first pig asked nervously. The third pig pointed outside. "We will work together to make our home even stronger, and we will stay ready. When danger comes again, we will face it together." The brothers nodded bravely. They did not want to be lazy anymore. They wanted to prove they had learned. So the pigs began working right away. They placed extra stones around the walls and strengthened the door with new wooden beams. They checked the windows and added strong locks. The first pig hammered nails while the second pig carried bricks. The third pig guided them, showing how to make everything solid and safe. As they worked, The sun climbed higher in the sky, shining warmly on their busy hands and determined hearts. The pigs talked and laughed a little, feeling proud of their teamwork. But every time a branch snapped outside or a bird flew past quickly, the first pig jumped nervously. "Do you think he's out there watching us?" he asked. The third pig nodded slowly. "Yes, that is why we must not relax." Meanwhile, in the forest, the wolf watched from behind the bushes, his eyes narrowed as he saw the pigs working together. "So they are preparing," he whispered. "Good. I like a challenge." He reached into a pile of old branches and pulled out something sharp, a long iron rod left behind by a hunter long ago. The wolf grinned. "If I cannot blow down their house," he growled quietly, "I will break it open." He lifted the iron rod onto his shoulder and walked deeper into the forest to gather sticks and thorny vines. He had a plan, a new terrible idea. The pigs did not know, but a bigger danger was being prepared for them. After hours of working, the pigs finally finished strengthening the house. The first pig wiped sweat from his forehead. "I never thought working hard could feel so good," he said proudly. The second pig nodded. "Yes, and it feels better when we do it together." The third pig smiled. That is the power of unity and effort. They cooked a warm meal, vegetable stew and fresh bread. They sat together around the table, eating happily. The air smelled warm and peaceful. For a moment, they forgot the danger outside. They felt safe, loved, and strong as a family. But just when they finished eating, they heard a strange sound outside. Crack, crunch, snap. It came from the forest, slow at first, then louder. The pigs froze. Their ears twitched. The first pig whispered, "Do you hear that?" The second pig swallowed hard. "He's back." The third pig stood up calmly and walked to the window. He looked out, carefully scanning the trees. At first, he saw nothing but shadows. Then he noticed movement, something large moving between the trees, something holding a long stick. His heartbeat quickened. "Prepare yourselves," he said firmly. "The wolf has returned." The pigs rushed around the room, grabbing anything they could use for protection: a broom, a pot lid, and a heavy wooden spoon. They stood near the door, ready. Outside, the wolf stepped into the open, dragging a sharp metal rod behind him. It scratched the stones, making a terrible screeching noise. His eyes glowed with anger and hunger. "Little pigs," he shouted. His voice boomed like thunder across the field. "Did you forget me?" The first pig whimpered quietly. The second pig held his spoon tightly, shaking, but the third pig stood tall. "Go away, wolf," he shouted. "We are not afraid of you. You cannot break this house." The wolf laughed, not a playful laugh, but a deep, cold sound that made the birds fly away in fright. "We shall see," he growled. He lifted the iron rod and slammed it against the door. Boom! The pigs jumped. The walls shook, but the door held. The wolf hit again. Boom! Dust fell from the ceiling. The first pig whispered, "What if he breaks through?" The third pig responded calmly, "He will not." We worked hard. Our home is strong. The wolf stepped back, breathing heavily, and growled, "If I cannot break down the door, I will break your spirit." Then he began banging again, faster and harder. Boom! 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 Inside, the pigs stood together. Their hearts raced, but their eyes stayed brave. They remembered running. They remembered fear, but now they also remembered strength and unity. The wolf roared outside, furious that the door still held. "I will return tonight," he snarled, "and next time you will not escape." With one final angry growl, He disappeared back into the forest. The pigs listened to his footsteps fade away. The forest fell quiet again. Slowly, the first pig exhaled in relief. The second pig sat down, shaking. The third pig placed his hoof on their shoulders. "This is not over," he whispered. "He will come again. But so will our courage." Outside, the forest rested silently, but everyone knew the peace was only temporary. A bigger challenge was waiting in the dark night ahead. Night came slowly, and darkness settled over the land like a heavy blanket. The moon hid behind clouds, and the stars shimmered weakly, as if they too were afraid of what lurked in the shadows. Inside the brick house, 3 little pigs sat quietly near the fireplace, the flames dancing softly but unable to warm the fear sitting in their chests. The first pig hugged his knees, trembling. "He will come back," he whispered. The second pig nodded, his voice shaking. "Yes." And he sounded angrier than before. The third pig remained calm, though his eyes watched the windows sharply. "Fear does not protect us," he said gently, "but courage and preparation do." He placed more wood on the fire, the sparks rising like tiny stars in the dark room. "We will be ready." The night crept deeper. Strange sounds floated from the forest, rustling leaves, low growls, snapping branches. Every sound made the pigs jump. The first pig whispered, "Why does he hate us so much?" The third pig sighed softly. "Wolves hunt. That is who they are. But hatred grows when someone loses. We embarrassed him. Now he wants revenge, not just food." The second pig swallowed hard. "So, he is more dangerous now?" The third pig nodded. "Yes. But danger is part of life. What matters is how we face it." His brothers tried to be brave, but their hearts pounded loudly. Suddenly, thud. Something hit the side of the house. The pigs froze, their ears perked. Another sound, closer. Step, step, step outside the window. Then a shadow passed across the glass. A deep growling voice filled the night. "Little pigs." The wolf's voice was lower than before, thick with rage. "I am back." The first pig gasped. The second pig grabbed his brother's hoof tightly. The third pig moved quietly to the door, checking the wooden beams he had added earlier. "Stay calm," he whispered. "He wants us scared." The wolf laughed outside, a slow, cruel laugh that crawled into the pig's bones. "You thought you could hide behind bricks?" he snarled. "Tonight, I show you what real power is." The sound of dragging metal scraped the ground. The wolf pounded the door with the iron rod. Boom! The house shook. The first pig squealed softly and covered his ears. The second pig whispered, "Please hold, please hold." The wolf struck again. Boom! Dust shook loose from the ceiling, but the bricks stood firm. The beams did not move. The wolf growled in frustration. "Fine," he hissed. "You strengthened your walls. But what about your minds? What about your hearts?" Fear cracks faster than bricks. His voice slithered like poison through the air. The first pig trembled harder. "He's trying to scare us," the third pig whispered. "Do not listen." But the wolf had more plans. "Do you remember," he called out, "how you ran from your straw house? How you screamed from your stick house?" The pigs shivered. The memories hurt. The wolf continued, voice twisting like smoke. "You were weak then. You are weak now. And soon you will beg to run again." The first pig squeezed his eyes shut. "Don't listen," the third pig repeated softly, placing a steady hoof on his brother's shoulder. "His strength is fear, not truth." Then the wolf tried something new. He began circling the house slowly, tapping the iron rod along the brick walls. Tap, tap, scrape, tap. The sound echoed like a chilling rhythm, a song of danger and darkness. "I will wait all night," he whispered. "I will not sleep. I will not leave. You cannot stay awake forever." His slow steps moved around the house again and again. The pigs' hearts beat fast, their breaths short. The night felt endless, heavy, suffocating. But the third pig stayed steady. He lit a lantern and placed it by the window. "Light pushes away darkness," he murmured. "Even a small flame matters." Hours passed. The wolf's footsteps continued, circling, circling. Sometimes he laughed, sometimes he growled, sometimes he stayed silent so long that the pigs thought he'd left, until suddenly he scraped the wall again, making them jump. "He's trying to break our courage," the second pig whispered. "Yes," the third pig nodded, "but courage isn't the absence of fear. It's standing firm, even while afraid." His brothers breathed deeply, trying to absorb those words. Finally, just before dawn, the wolf stopped. Silence fell. Heavy, tense. Then the wolf spoke softly, almost like a promise of doom. "When the sun rises, I return with something stronger than breath and metal." His voice dropped to a terrifying whisper. "Fire." The pigs froze. Fire? Their hearts nearly stopped. "You built your safety in brick," the wolf sneered, "but even stone fears flame. Tomorrow, I burn it down." His footsteps faded into the forest. The pigs sat silently, shock crawling across their faces. The first pig began to cry softly. "He's going to burn us." "What do we do?" The second pig hugged him tightly, shaking. "We survived blowing. We survived the iron rod. But fire?" The third pig looked into the fading fire in the fireplace, his eyes sharp and thoughtful. He spoke quietly, but with firm strength. "If he brings fire, we will be ready. Bricks do not burn. We only need to protect the windows, the roof, and ourselves." His brothers stared at him with wide, scared eyes. "How?" the first pig whispered. The third pig stood up slowly. "With water, tools, buckets, and teamwork. We survived by running before. We survived by hiding. Now we survive by standing strong." The first pig wiped his tears. The second pig straightened his back. The fear was still there, strong and real, but so was something new: determination. "We will not run again," the second pig said, voice trembling but strong. "We will fight smart," added the first pig, fists clenched. The third pig smiled at them, proud. "Yes, victory does not come from being fearless. It comes from not giving up outside." Morning light finally broke through the clouds. The sun rose slowly, like hope returning from darkness. Birds began to sing again, but the forest still felt heavy, waiting. The pigs stepped outside together, breathing fresh morning air. The wolf was nowhere in sight, but his promise echoed in their minds like thunder. Fire was coming, danger was coming. But the pigs stood side by side, hearts beating together, ready to face whatever waited at sunset. This time, they were not helpless. This time, they were prepared. And this time, they would not just survive. They would stand strong. The day ahead would test them more than ever before. But courage had begun to grow, like a seed planted in the darkest soil, reaching toward the light with quiet strength. The big bad wolf fell down the chimney and landed in the pot of boiling water with a loud splash. "Ah!" the wolf cried. Hot water burned his fur, and he jumped out very fast. He ran around the room shouting in pain. The three pigs watched with wide eyes. They could not believe what just happened. The third pig held his broom like a weapon, ready to defend himself, but the wolf did not attack. Instead, the wolf cried, "Ouch! Ouch! My tail! My fur! My poor paws! Then he rushed to the door and ran into the forest as fast as his legs could carry him. Outside, birds flew away, leaves fell from trees, and even the wind seemed scared of the wolf's scream. The wolf did not stop running. He did not even look back. The forest became quiet again, and the pigs finally let out a long, tired breath. They were safe at last. For a long moment the pig stood silently, staring at the door and listening. They wanted to make sure the wolf was really gone. Then the third pig walked to the pot and removed it from the fire. His hands were shaking a little, but his face was calm. "Brothers," he said softly, "we are safe." The first pig and second pig began to cry. They were not crying from sadness, but from relief and happiness. They hugged their younger brother tightly. "Thank you," the first pig whispered. "You saved our lives," the second pig added. The third pig hugged them back and smiled. "I only did what was right. We are family. We must protect each other." The three pigs sat down for a moment to rest. Their hearts were still beating fast. It had been a long, difficult day. They were tired, hungry, and nervous, but they were also thankful. Soon the first pig said, "Brother, I feel ashamed. I built a straw house because I was lazy. I thought it would be quick and easy." The second pig nodded. "And I only used sticks." I was not as lazy as him, but still, I did not think carefully. We did not plan. We did not work hard. We only wanted comfort and fun. The third pig placed his hoof on theirs and shook his head kindly. "Do not feel ashamed. Now you understand. Hard work protects us. Quick and easy is not always safe." The first pig wiped his tears and nodded. "Yes, now I know." The second pig took a deep breath. "I want to learn from you." Evening came slowly, and the sky turned pink and orange. The brothers prepared dinner together. They cooked vegetables and warm soup. As they ate, they laughed softly and talked about their childhood. They remembered playing in the forest, swimming in the river, and dancing under the moonlight. Those were happy times. But now they understood that life had changed. They were adults. They needed to be responsible if they wanted safety and peace. After dinner, the first and second pig looked around the strong brick house. "Your house is warm, strong, and comfortable," the second pig said. "Yes," the first pig added. "You worked hard, and now we see why it was the right choice." The third pig smiled kindly. "Tomorrow, we will build strong homes for all of us. We will work together." That night, the three pigs slept close to each other. The younger brother slept between the two older ones, like when they were babies. Outside, the night wind blew softly, but the brick walls protected them. The fire kept them warm. The moon shone through the window. For the first time in many days, they slept peacefully. They dreamed about a bright future where they lived safely and happily in strong homes. No wolf, no fear, only brotherhood and peace. The next morning, the pigs woke up full of energy. The sun was shining and birds were singing. The air smelled fresh and clean. "Today is a new beginning," the third pig said. The first pig stretched his arms and nodded proudly. "Today, I will work hard," he promised. The second pig smiled confidently. "Me too." They ate breakfast together. Then they walked outside to start building new houses. This time, there was no rushing, no shortcuts, no laziness. They collected strong bricks, heavy stones, and good wood. They mixed cement and worked slowly, carefully, and patiently. The first pig's back hurt a little, but he continued. The second pig's arms felt tired, but he did not stop. The third pig supported them and taught them step by step. When they became tired, they took short rests and continued again. They shared water, shared food, and encouraged each other. The sun moved across the sky as hours passed. Slowly, the new houses began to rise, strong, beautiful, safe homes. Neighbors came to watch. Some clapped and smiled, happy to see the pigs working together. Even the birds on the trees chirped proudly, as if cheering for them. By the end of the day, the brothers looked at their work. It was not finished yet, but the foundation was strong. "Look," the first pig whispered proudly. "This time we built something strong." The second pig nodded with joy. "Yes, this time we built with love, patience, and hard work." The third pig placed his hoof on theirs again. "And that is why this time it will last." They all smiled. Their hearts were full. They were tired, but they were happy, because they learned a valuable lesson and grew stronger together. That night, they sat outside under the stars. The air was cool, and fireflies danced in the grass. "Do you think the wolf will return?" the first pig asked quietly. The third pig shook his head slowly. "Maybe. But if he comes, we will be ready. We are stronger now." The second pig added, "And we will never be lazy again." They laughed and cheered. "To hard work, to family, to safety," they said together. The moon looked down on them kindly. The night was peaceful. The future felt bright. And so the pigs rested once more in the strong brick house, full of hope and courage. They knew tomorrow would bring more work, but they also knew they could face anything, as long as they stayed smart, worked hard, and stood together as brothers. The warm morning light entered through the small windows of the strong brick house. The three pigs woke up feeling peaceful and safe. It had been several days since the wolf ran away, and life had begun to feel calm again. The birds sang outside, and the wind carried the sweet smell of flowers from the nearby meadow. The first pig stretched his arms happily. "Ah, a new day," he said. The second pig rubbed his eyes and smiled. "A new day to build and grow." The third pig nodded proudly. "And a new day to live without fear." The pigs felt proud and grateful for everything they learned. After breakfast, the pigs walked outside to continue building their new homes. The foundation was strong, and today they planned to build the walls higher. They worked slowly and carefully, helping each other step by step. They mixed cement, placed bricks neatly, and checked every corner to make sure it was perfect. Neighbor animals passed by and waved. "You three are doing a great job," a squirrel called from a tree. "We are proud of you," a friendly rabbit added. The pigs smiled and waved back. They felt respected and valued. This made them work even harder. As the day went on, the first pig looked around the forest and felt a little curious. The wolf had not returned. The first pig whispered quietly, "Do you think the wolf is gone forever?" The second pig placed another brick and answered, "Maybe he went far away. Maybe he learned his lesson." The third pig paused for a moment and thought deeply. "Wolves are wolves," he said gently, "but we are ready and we are prepared. We are not afraid anymore." The first two pigs nodded bravely. They had changed. They had grown stronger and wiser. By afternoon, the walls of the new homes were almost complete. The brothers stood together, admiring their progress. "Look at how far we have come," the second pig said proudly. The first pig nodded with bright eyes. "I never knew hard work could feel this good." The third pig smiled warmly. "Hard work gives us safety, pride, and peace." Just then, A gentle breeze passed through the trees and carried the distant sound of rustling leaves. The pigs froze for a moment. "Is it the wolf?" the first pig asked quietly. They listened carefully. For a second, the forest was silent. Then a deer stepped out from behind a tree. The pigs exhaled in relief. The deer smiled and said, "Do not worry. The forest is safe. I heard the wolf ran far, far away." The pigs thanked the deer and continued working with confidence. When evening came, their new homes were almost finished. Only the roofs remained. The pigs sat outside and ate a simple meal of warm soup and bread. They laughed together and told stories. They remembered the days when they played near the river and chased butterflies in the field. Now, they felt wiser, more mature, and more grateful. The first pig touched his brick wall and said, "This feels strong. I am proud." The second pig nodded. "We used to think only about comfort and fun. We didn't understand responsibility." The third pig smiled. "Now we do. We worked together and we succeeded." The sky slowly turned a deep purple. Stars began to appear one by one, shining like tiny lanterns in the night. The pigs sat quietly watching the sky. The air felt peaceful. "I am happy," the first pig whispered. "Me too," the second pig said softly. The third pig placed his hoof on theirs and said, "Happiness comes when we work hard, support each other, and never give up." The three pigs sat close, feeling warm and safe. Later that night, they heard a rustling sound in the forest again. They listened carefully. Their hearts beat faster for a moment. But instead of fear, they felt calm strength. If a danger came, they were ready. They had strong homes, they had courage, and most important, they had each other. The rustling sound faded, and the forest fell quiet again. The first pig smiled. "Even if the wolf returns one day, we will not be scared." The second pig nodded boldly. "We know how to protect ourselves now." The third pig lifted his chin proudly. "And we will always stick together." Finally, the three pigs went inside the brick house to sleep. They arranged their beds side by side again. The room was warm, and the soft, crackling sound of the fireplace filled the air. The third pig blew out the candle, and darkness settled gently over the room. The moonlight through the window made a soft, silver glow on the floor. The pigs whispered good night to each other. "Good night, brothers," the youngest pig said. "Good night," they replied together. As they fell asleep, their hearts were filled with peace. They dreamed beautiful dreams, dreams of sunny gardens, joyful laughter, and bright days ahead. They knew the world still had challenges, but they also knew they had the wisdom and strength to face them. They had learned one of life's most important lessons: hard work, patience, and unity make a strong and happy life. And so the three pigs lived safely and happily in their strong homes, never forgetting the journey that taught them to be brave, wise, and hardworking. They lived with courage, love, and respect, forever brothers, forever strong. And somewhere deep in the forest, the wolf nursed his pride and his burned tail. He thought about the pigs every day. And each time he remembered the hot water splashing on him, he shivered and ran deeper into the woods. He never returned to bother the three pigs again. The pigs did not know where the wolf went, and they did not need to know. They no longer lived in fear, because in the end, they had learned something more powerful than fear. When you work hard, stay smart, and stand with those you love, no wolf in the world can defeat you. Thank you for reading The Three Little Pigs with us. You have now finished a full English story and learned new words, expressions, and ideas. This story teaches us a very important lesson. Hard work and smart decisions bring safety and success. The first two pigs chose the easy way and built weak houses. But the third pig worked hard and built a strong brick house. In the end, only the strong house could protect them from the wolf. In life, we often face challenges, just like the pigs faced the wolf. If we work carefully and practice every day, we become strong and confident. Learning English is the same. Do not take shortcuts. Practice reading, writing, listening, and speaking regularly. Even a little effort every day brings great results. Always remember the message from this story. Hard work builds a strong future. Smart planning keeps us safe. Working together makes us stronger. Never give up when things are difficult. You did a wonderful job today. Continue reading more stories, keep learning new vocabulary, and practice speaking confidently. Learning English step by step will make you successful. Thank you again for joining this lesson. Stay curious, stay brave, and keep learning every day. See you in the next story.